with Donna Kauffman, whose Baby Cakes comes out today. Do you want to tell us about the Cupcake Club?
Yeah, this is the third book in the Cupcake Club. The first two, Sugar Rush and Sweet Stuff, came out earlier this year. It takes place on a little island off the coast of Georgia called Sugarberry Island. It's a fictional island, but it's set in a very real chain of barrier islands. A lot of people don't know that there are islands off the coast of Georgia, but there are. Mine is a small town, non-touristy, deals with a cross-section of both hometown, town square, and as well as the wildlife and wilderness, which is a big part of the barrier chain. And in this particular book, gets into the endangered sea turtles, so it's kind of a fun little side story. Did a lot of research on that.
Great. So why do you think that foodie books are so popular right now?
I think writing about food it encompasses all of our senses. I think that food is a lot like life and relationships and people, and that it stimulates your sense of smell, your sense of taste, your touch. Everything about it is wound up into this one element. And I think we all obviously enjoy food, so it's a universal element. But I think it can be done both in a way that's entertaining and interesting and fun, but it's also very sensual and it's very interesting. And I think it adds a certain element to the tension and things going on between the couple too.
Right. So
cupcakes can be sexy. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. I had 2 yesterday, and I was pretty turned on.
Yeah. There you go. So there's a sugar rush, and then there's this. It's all good.
So do you think that people are kind of depressed now, and that's why they're so into the food stuff?
Well, I think that there's a lot of uncertainty, certainly in our day-to-day lives, especially in the last handful of years. And so I think that there's something to be said for the comfort of food in that regard. But I also think that for cupcakes specifically, I think that there's something about having that one little thing that's just yours. It's in your little cup, it's your little serving, it's your little cup of fun. There's something that's very comforting about that. But I think food does, and I think it brings us together. So plus it's economical.
True.
It's just one little cup. Everybody can do one little cup. But I think that the community aspect of the series is probably more heartening for what's going on in our world. I think small town, community, ongoing series with recurring secondary characters where we feel like we're kind of, one of my characters says that moving to Sugarberry was like being in a constant group hug. And I think we all kind of need a little group hug.
Yeah, posts for Happy Ever After about Dancing with the Stars.
I have.
Yeah. And you have a special connection to that. What's that?
I do. Actually, when I was in my younger years, we won't say how many years younger.
Like 5.
I was like 5 or 6, before I had kids who were like in their 20s. I was a dancer for a long time, and I danced in a jazz troupe here in DC called Feet First, and so I have a real strong connection to the dance world. And when the dancing television show started coming on, I was all over that, and started blogging it as part of my writer's blog, and it just kind of took off and became really popular. I have opinions, and I'm not shy about sharing them. Some good, some, but people seem to enjoy I think the humor in those write-ups is very similar to the humor in my books that tends to translate. So it's been a lot of fun. I've gotten a lot of really great feedback from, and you guys have been great about putting it in the Happily Ever After column. I've had a blast with it. So it's a pretty delicious season, and it's starting to really heat up right now. So, heat up. I mean, have you seen?
Yeah.
There's some pretty steamy things, and there's a lot of skin. So I'm saying if you enjoy, you might want to turn on the dancing show. So.
Do you have a favorite pro dancer?
I think it changes from year to year. There were dancers that I didn't used to care for a great deal that now I've come to respect. I like, perhaps like say Karina initially was kind of the bad girl, and now she's a little more vulnerable and lovable. Max, who I think we used to always think was misunderstood, I think is actually very well understood these days. But certainly enjoyable to watch. I enjoy him with this particular partner, Kirstie Alley, because she's like the bigger sister that totally doesn't take any of his stuff, so it's a lot of fun. But the steamy this year is being brought by Max's brother, Val, and his partner, Kelly Monaco from the soap opera fame. The two of them, I don't think there's a lot of question that the heat on the dance floor is perhaps, I'm just saying, maybe gone off the dance floor a little bit, or a lot of it, maybe. But that's interesting to watch. Gilles Marini, who is just the hotness of all hot, was paired with a pro that I didn't particularly care for, Peta, but they've been great together this season. She won last year with football player, and so I just didn't know how she was going to do with a more suave, elegant guy. But I have to say, it's been a fun season so far. Really enjoyed it.
I think Gilles brings out the best in pretty much everyone.
He's a very charming man. He could certainly bring out the best in me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay.
So yeah. But,
well, thanks, Donna. Thanks for talking to me.
Absolutely, anytime. It's always a pleasure.